Exodus 1, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranking. Thank you for coming into the Freestyle Fanaticz podcast. Just chilling tonight. About to get it cracking. Uh, it's a new channel I kind of like. I've been checking them out night and day, and they got the cartoon version. I've been checking the night and day channel out, but they got like a cartoon channel now. So I've been rocking with them. So this one, they say Diddy and Steve Harvey baby oil connection. So this the first one, first segment we're gonna do. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all had a good Memorial Day yesterday. So let's get this party started, man.
Hi, Steve. I've been married for 32 years, by the grace of God. My husband is a pastor. And we don't get to spend a lot of time together, so we found Thursdays as being fun Thursdays for the two of us. And we go somewhere different every time, a new restaurant, we try new hotels, we order pizza.
How you doing?
Done fun things like that, but we're kind of bored now. So we're looking for some new ideas from you. So could you help us out with some fun Thursdays? And remember, I'm a pastor's wife. So.
This is Ask Steve. Maybe you should have went to the other show and asked Joel Osteen.
Or you could have asked Bishop TV Cakes. He definitely know what to do, Daddy.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming? I ain't really got no Christian answer for you. You want to spruce things up with the pastor. I'm just gonna have to keep it real with you. I've been having like bowling night and pizza night and all like that. Just throw the baby oil in there.
Damn, the boy said throw some baby oil in that bitch. Boy, this nigga is not playing, bro. They done got all these folks caught up in this shit. Steve Harvey said put the baby oil on it.
Are you looking to establish your business using an address other than your home?
Premium.
Wish you had a professional business.
Just throw the baby oil in there.
Baby oil. Yeah, we talking, Daddy. That's what I'm talking about. That's a great suggestion right there, you know what I'm saying?
It ain't nothing simple about throwing some baby oil in there. I'm telling you, baby oil is, it just
Hey, y'all hit the like button,
man. Baby
man.
oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. I done had baby oil all around my mouth before. I don't even know what's on there. I just suggest a baby oil type night. It's just baby oil. Praise the Lord, baby oil.
Go, Steven. Go, Steven. Go, Steven. You got that right, Daddy. Praise the Lord for the baby oil.
What
You know
the?
what I'm saying? See, Steve, no. Steve know all about the magic behind that baby oil, Daddy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You tell him,
Oh
Steven.
my God.
You tell him, Dad.
3 bottles of baby.
The fuck? What? What? Hold on. Can I cuss shit? Yeah, I can cuss. Wow.
Whoa. Oh, my all-time favorite, baby. 3 bottles of baby oil. Got to have a baby oil, baby. What kind of baby oil you use? Johnson Johnson?
Yes.
It's the best kind, ain't it?
You damn right that Johnson & Johnson is the best baby oil. You know what I'm saying, Daddy?
What?
I love me some Johnson.
What's good?
Johnson.
What's good?
I love Johnson's. You know what I'm saying?
Puffy Buddy. Oh, wow. I don't want no problem, Puffy Buddy, bro. I don't want no problem.
What's good?
My husband and I watch the show. He often takes your advice on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, recently, when I was in the room lying down, he came in there and he squirted. cold baby oil on my back. It was very cold. It was ice cold.
This shit is, boy, this is horrible. What's up with the baby oil though, y'all? I'm trying to figure out what's up with all this damn baby oil. Hey, bro. I mean, everybody deserves a trial.
And whatever mood I was in, I wasn't in it anymore.
Everybody deserves a trial. One thing about this case right here, they've uncovered a lot of things about Diddy and things like that. But what I can say, most of the things that they got him on, these are not RICO offenses. Like, I mean, you could be a bad person and not commit a RICO. So I'm just trying to figure out where the RICO coming in at. Like help me try to figure out where is the RICO coming in at. Now he's a horrible human being, but where does the RICO come in at? So
Cold baby oil. That's the biggest violation. I dare somebody squirt some cold baby oil on me. That'll be the last time you see anything. Squirt some cold baby oil. You out of your mind? Man, I wish a Negro would squirt some cold baby oil on me. You know what I'm saying?
And neither was he. So, Steve, you give great romantic tips. Could you share some techniques?
The whole player came in there with that cold ass baby oil. Yeah, man. See, this baby oil, listen to me. I talk about baby oil all the time because it's a specialty. And you ain't really had the experience with baby oil. You can't know what it is. But you got to be a baby oil professional.
Yes, that's why
You need to microwave this baby oil before you come in there. Now, most people don't have a microwave in their bedroom. I've installed one because I need hot baby oil at hand. Now, you don't want to put no microwave in your bedroom. Here's a couple of low-budget ways to accomplish it. Run a sink full of hot water and just lay that bottle of baby oil in there for about 15 minutes. Turn it and let it heat up like that. Another way to apply warm baby oil. Take a washcloth, run it under the hot water till you can't stand it no more. Then wring it out. Then saturate the washcloth with the baby oil. Then take the hot washcloth over there to the bed. Then as you need it, wring it a little bit and go to work.
Go, Steven.
oh my God. This is, I don't know, bro. It's hard to say, bro.
Go, Steven. Yeah, I love those baby oil tactics, Daddy. Man, where you learn those from? You have to teach me. Man, you got the baby oil game on lock, Daddy. I ain't know you had it like that, Steve.
Man, they got that shit sounding just like Diddy though. This sounds just like that nigga, bro. Like, I think the other stuff is real, but when he's saying go Steven, I think that's AI, bro. But that shit sound like Diddy though.
Ever not include baby oil in your love life. You are missing one of the great inventions. Baby oil ain't really for babies. It's for your damn baby.
Baby oil story time with Fix Our Diddy, you know what I'm saying, Daddy? Well, let me tell y'all this real quick. So one night, I'm talking to Pete, the bad boy era. We at the mansion, Bob is crazy, candles lit, R&B playing, Usher in the background, and I got this imported bitch cotton robe on, Daddy. You know the one silk that flow like a dream. Now I'm getting ready to get the ultimate massage. I'm talking 5-star spa experience. But then I realized ain't no lotion, no oils or nothing. I'm like, nah, this ain't the way a mogul live. So I call out, yo, where the baby oil at? People looking at me crazy. I'm like, yo, y'all don't understand. Baby oil is essential. It's the secret to smooth success. So I send my assistant, bed massage, I kid you not, down to the CVS in Beverly Hills. 10 minutes later, Farnsworth Berry come back with, a gallon of baby oil, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, a gallon? I said, yo, that's more like it. Pour that oil like champagne on the New Year's, you know what I'm saying, Daddy? Or the story is, keep that baby oil close. You know what I'm saying? Keep your vibe even closer.
Damn. Keep that baby on close.
That's a Diddy gem right there, Daddy. And I'm out. Peace. Yeah.
I ain't gonna do that one because I don't know if that's. But yeah, that's Night and Day. Y'all check them out. Let's see what the Petty Show got. We did some Petty Show shit earlier. Hold on. Did the Petty Show earlier. Hold on. I'm sure they got a new one, cause they come with a new one damn near like every day, bro. Okay, 27 Diddy, #1 in horror, Pierre flees after deleting secret tapes of elites. Damn, that's Ben Affleck revealed. Okay, so we got 3 good ones to watch, y'all. The first one we're gonna we doing Harv Pierre. This the Petty Show. Y'all know I love the Petty Show. Y'all know I love the Petty Show. So yeah, the first one we doing Harv Pierre flees after deleting secret tapes of elite parties. So y'all go check out the Petty Show. And they pretty short, so they're not too long.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident. There's a better way to get paid a way bigger check without having to
got
go.
premium, my bad. Y'all gonna hear some commercials.
James Crew and Harv Pierre always been Diddy's flunkies, especially Harv Pierre. That's why he's being sued right now too by one of his assistants and stuff like that, because I guess he learned from his boss.
We have something to celebrate, something. I've had a cat that's been down with me for 20 years, and we put out the press release today, that he has become president. It's my man, and I think we should toast his black excellence.
He's the only one that Puff trusts as far as like when he does the bad boy talk. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get Harv Pierre because he know exactly my sound.
His empire is crumbling, and now his closest ally, Harv Pierre, has vanished. Yeah, that's right. The man fans didn't think twice about is now at the center of a storm of deleted tapes, disturbing lawsuits, and explosive secrets. Word is, Harv wiped Diddy's freak-off hard drive and then dipped before the feds could catch him. Apparently, the authorities are only now realizing that they messed up big time when they chose not to investigate him. Turns out he's been getting his hands dirty for Diddy for years now, securing girls, lacing drinks, arranging freak-offs, all while learning the trade for himself. But why would Harv act up now unless he had something to hide? Was he the one keeping these darkest secrets buried? And now that he's gone, what happens next? Let's find.
What y'all think? Do y'all feel like? Because I mean, honestly, for Diddy to be able to do all this stuff they say he's doing, he had to have help from somewhere. Like somebody had to help this man. He couldn't do all of this madness by himself.
Now, so, according to several reports, the feds cannot find Diddy's right-hand man, Harv Pierre. Word on the street is that he erased Diddy's hard drive of freak-off tapes and made a run for it. Apparently, while Diddy's been rotting away inside a jail cell, Harv's been secretly working to clean up his mess. And that's not entirely surprising. After the floodgates opened for Diddy, fans found out that he wasn't acting alone. And that came as a shock because up until then, Harv had been one of the good guys, or at least that's what people thought.
Harv Pierre is one of the greatest guys that I ever had a chance to deal with at Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? As far as business-wise, as far as personal-wise, he's been through a lot. He's always been a humble dude. Like the accusations that they make about him, I really don't see it.
So before we get over here, I'm gonna do a reaction to. I gotta find the video but I'm definitely gonna do it. It's a video about this man. I think his name Chris. I think it's Chris Light, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I got to do a reaction to that video.
I think everybody was took by surprise by that. But if I had the chance to say, I would say he's definitely not smoking crack. He's always been business minded, always been on top.
But that's far from the truth. Harv was the one Diddy trusted the most for all the wrong reasons. Think of him as the Ghislaine Maxwell to a Jeffrey Epstein. That's a spot-on comparison because Harv's name was mentioned during the trial as well. When Dawn Richards took the stand, she revealed that she had the misfortune to witness Diddy's vile acts firsthand. But she was forced to stay quiet about it by none other than Harv. Here's how the testimony went. AUSA, how would you speak to him? Dawn, Richard, very soft. I'd always call him bro. AUSA, why did you not disclose the abuse you'd seen? Dawn, Richard, I was told not to by Mr. Combs and Harv Pierre. AUSA, when did you speak out? Dawn, Richard, 2024. And that's not entirely surprising for people who have been following Diddy's legal situation since day one. Because when Dawn filed her explosive lawsuit,
I feel like a lot of this stuff been out. Like, basically, this stuff been just brewing, bro. A lot of this shit we didn't even... I really felt like, Tupac was really ahead of his time because Tupac was calling this man funny or whatever for a long time now. You know what I'm saying? Tupac has been gone for 20-some years. So, yeah, he's been calling this man fruity for a long time.
Against Diddy, she named Harv as a co-defendant as well. And well, think about that for a second. The only reason Dawn would do something like that was if Harv was going around doing Diddy's dirty work. And maybe he was because he was willing to do anything to get Dawn to drop that lawsuit. His lawyer, Scott E. Lehman, used every trick in the book, saying, New York State has a 1-year statute of limitations for claims like these. Even if the claims were timely, they lacked the necessary evidence suggesting that Pierre was involved in any tortious act. Lehman also said, the complaint's vague and undifferentiated allegations of fraud against all defendants fail to meet the specificity standards required in such cases. The complaint fails on several grounds, and we are optimistic that Mr. Pierre will be cleared. But here we are. Honestly, Harv should have known better than that. There's been talk about him being Diddy's underling for a long time now. In fact, according to Gene Deal, the former record executive used to put pills in women's cranberry and orange juice at the club, and he taught the same trick to Harv as well.
They see the bottles.
So, Gene Deal, I know you said he drunk some orange juice out the refrigerator one day, and I guess he said basically, allegedly, this is all allegedly, he woke up, he was ovulating.
When they open them. And they try to keep their eyes on them because they don't want to get no kind of bugs put in their system. But what they don't understand is in the orange juice and it's in the cranberry juice. They didn't put the pills and the stuff in there, the roofies, the ecstasy, the ease, all whatever they put it in the juice. Now, those girls who like the mixed drinks, you understand what I'm saying? They gonna pour their own sexual act because they don't understand it ain't in the bottles, it's in the juice. Those guys, they learn that. And they put it to those girls who don't know no better.
And fans know for a fact that Gene was not messing around because, according to one lawsuit, Harv was present for some of the freak-offs. Jane Doe claimed that Diddy and 2 other record executives violated her when she was a 17-year-old in her junior year of high school.
Damn.
This laptop is a revolution in education. The benefits of a traditional school should direct
Executives violated her when she was a 17-year-old in her junior year of high school. Apparently, Pierre was the one who sought her out. He approached Jane in 2003 at a lounge in Michigan, telling her he was a friend. Told her that he would love to meet her, suggesting that she should accompany Harv to New York City in a private jet. Excited by the prospect of meeting a big name in the industry and flying in a private jet, Jane did not think twice about the offer. She jumped on the plane, but the moment she stepped inside, everything started going wrong. According to court documents, shortly thereafter, Mr. Pierre directed Ms. Doe to go with him into the bathroom at the lounge. Once inside the bathroom, Mr. Pierre began to smoke crack cocaine from what appeared to be an aluminum can. He then asked her to perform oral favors for him.
Hold on, bro. We gotta run that back. Give me a second.
Things started going wrong. According to court documents, shortly thereafter, Mr. Pierre directed Ms. Doe to go with him into the bathroom at the lounge. Once inside the bathroom, Mr. Pierre began to smoke crack cocaine from what appeared to be an aluminum can. He then asked her to perform oral favors for him. If you get...
He's smoking them drugs like they smoked it back in the 80s. Off a can.
Took her to Diddy's studio in New York, where this picture was taken. Things only got worse from...
The man didn't even have a pipe. Man smoked off a soda can.
Here on out.
Damn.
Mr. Combs, Mr. Pierre, and the third assailant began to ply Ms. Doe, a 17-year-old at the time, with copious amounts of drugs and alcohol. While the evening became a blur, Ms. Doe does recall Mr. Combs, Mr. Pierre, and the third assailant hitting on her incessantly, stroking her body, asking to see her ass, and telling her how hot and sexy she was. As the night went on, Jane was supplied with more substances to make sure she wouldn't remember any of it or put up a fight, and once everything was in place, Diddy, Harv, and the third assailant did the unthinkable. The details described in the lawsuit are downright horrific, but what's shocking is how willing Harv was to go with everything. Not only did he secure girls for Diddy, but he also helped him slip them illegal substances. It's almost like he was a twisted wingman of sorts.
Damn.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There was another case filed by an ex-assistant as well, only this time, Harv was the only one sued. According to a complaint filed in New York County Supreme Court by Jane Doe, the record executive preyed on her on multiple occasions in New York City and other locations throughout the country. She claimed that Pierre used his position of authority as plaintiff's boss to groom, exploit, sexually assault her, and that he engaged in a year-long pattern of grooming plaintiff, leading to sexual harassment of plaintiff and sexual assault. There were multiple incidents from 2016 to 2017, and throughout all of it, Jane suffered physical, emotional, and psychological injuries, along with pain and suffering. And get this.
I'm sure she did. Like, that's just crazy. That's crazy. Like, they grown people doing this to like teenagers, man.
Accusing the
So if I keep stopping, I'm gonna pop out and pop right back in. I ain't even gonna waste no time. I'm gonna name the video, so y'all already know what it is. Just look for the icon.
To the attention of the company. Neither the plaintiff nor the executive are current employees of the company. We are now investigating the allegations, and our top priority is the safety and well-being of our employees. At the end of the day, it's clear that Harv's hands are nowhere clean. In fact, fans think that the feds should have arrested him right when they put the handcuffs on Diddy to avoid this exact situation. No one can seem to understand why the feds didn't think about that. Diddy and Harv have been close for years.
He's the only one that Puff trusts as far as like when he does the bad boy talk. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get Harv Pierre because he knows exactly my sound.
The two met when they were both students at Howard University. Turns out they both wanted the same things from life. So when Diddy started his label, Harv was right by his side. He left Uptown Records at the same time as Diddy and became the first staffer of Bad Boy Records upon it.
So basically, when Diddy, when he left college, he became an intern for Uptown Records. When he left, he basically took everybody with him. He took, I think, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci. I think Craig Mack was with Uptown, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
launch in 1993. Harv worked his way up from an intern and Combs' assistant to a senior level position before leaving the company in 1995. He became the label's A&R director, overseeing major projects and helping to shape the careers of artists. But then, RCA Records offered him a better position as an executive, which Harv ended up taking. However, it looks like he missed the freedom of working under Diddy because 2 years later, he returned to Bad Boy, and this time he stayed. A choice that paid off in the long run. Knowing Diddy, he probably only rewarded people who could keep a lid on things, and Harv seemed to check every box. So the former record executive made him the label's president in 2008. Harv ended up staying on until 2017. But Harv's not completely out of the loop. He calls himself a partial owner of the company thanks to Diddy giving him a piece of the pie.
We have something to celebrate, something. I've had a cat that's been down with me for 20 years, and we put out the press release today, that he has become president. It's my man, and I think we should toast. He's a black excellence. Not only has he been made the president, he's also got an equity stake in Bad Boy.
Anyone who looks at that career progression can easily figure out that Harv was one of Diddy's most trusted men, which was more than enough reason for the feds to look into him.
James Crew and Harv Pierre always been Diddy's flunkies, especially Harv Pierre. That's why he's being sued right now too by one of his assistants and stuff like that, because I guess he learned from his boss.
But they didn't, and now they're paying the price. That said, there have been some reports about the feds planning to go after people like Harv. According to one fan, right now, no one is named yet as a co-conspirator. The case is against on the head of the organization, and
so it's like Diddy got a RICO. It's like basically a one-man RICO. Got the RICO all by himself. Sort of like how they got R. Kelly. R. Kelly got locked up all by himself, but he caught RICO charges too.
you need the underlings to flip if you're going to get the head. Those who choose to stay loyal to Puff and his alleged activities and not appear as witnesses for the prosecution will be named as co-conspirators. For people who fall within certain orbits of the Combs universe, the government has stated that if your name doesn't appear on their witness list of 100, consider yourself a co-conspirator. At the end of the day, Diddy didn't act alone, and if the feds are pushing for RICO charges, they need to arrest more than one person, and Harv's on top of that list. But what do you think? Did Pierre really make a run for it? And did he screw up the investigation by making...
All right, y'all, so the next one we going to, Ben Affleck reveals in court J-Lo helped bury evidence to protect Diddy in 99, you know. Everybody know about that. I ain't got premium, so...
It's a huge revolution in the way that we think about feeling.
No wonder that Affleck was Jennifer.
And she was like one of his... He really was in love with that lady. Dude had love Jennifer Lopez. I just after that whole incident and
Tape of her with Diddy at the party has left him humiliated. Recently, according to the arrested Suge Knight, the FBI obtained a plethora of shocking
Jennifer
tapes.
Lopez, who was in the Navigator when it was stopped by police. An officer testified that everyone in the SUV was ordered to put their hands on the vehicle, but Lopez walked away, saying she was going home. As she...
Dirty Diddy drops a Christmas bomb on J-Lo.
Many have speculated over the identity of Celebrity B. At first, it was thought the woman could be Beyonce. The speculation has now turned to Sean Combs' significant other at the time.
So, it looks like J-Lo is spiraling out of her mind right now because Ben Affleck did not hold back when he was asked what he knew about J-Lo's role in the 1999 NYC club shooting. Ben laid it all bare, revealing that not only did J-Lo allegedly pass Diddy the gun, as Lil Rod said in his lawsuit, but she also plotted with him to hide the evidence, which is why Diddy got off without doing any time. J-Lo has been scrambling since these new details came to light because this might really be the end of the road for her. Imagine doing all that work to hide from your past only for it to come back and bite you in the behind? Anyway, fans are curious about what all this means. What does this mean for J-Lo's career? And could she be called to testify in this case? Let's dive right in.
All Jennifer Lopez had to do was marry a white boy, Oscar winner, for people to stop remembering that she had a gun in her pocketbook. She had gunshot residue on her hands the night that Natanya was shot.
So it looks like J-Lo's fatal mistake might have been trusting Ben Affleck with the details of her relationship with...
That's why you can't, if you know something like that, shut the... Please, be quiet. Just shut up. Don't... Stuff like that, everybody don't gotta know.
Diddy and her involvement in the 1999 NYC club shooting because the man is singing like a bird right now. Word on the street is that Ben Affleck has actually been working with the feds to unravel the messy layers of that incident because, I don't know if y'all heard, but the feds were planning to reopen that case to find any links to Diddy. What really triggered that turn in the investigation was Lil Rod's explosive lawsuit, where he claimed that Diddy admitted to shooting up a club and getting away with it. But what was even more shocking was Lil Rod saying that Diddy bragged about J-Lo's involvement, saying that J-Lo was the one who passed him the bang bang when things got heated that day. According to Lil Rod, Diddy was saying all this in an attempt to scare him into agreeing to freak-offs with other men. I shot up a club and got away with it so I can unalive you and also get away with it. In the lawsuit, Lil Rod said, Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the shooting in the nightclub in New York City with rapper Shine. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, carried the blank into the club for him and passed him the blank after he got into an altercation with another individual. This lawsuit had many shocking claims, but this one was one of the ones that left people's jaws on the floor for real. I mean, J-Lo has spent the last 2 decades trying to distance herself from her past with Diddy, so it's really crazy that everything is coming back to haunt her now. But you know what they say? Nothing stays hidden forever. So, what really happened on that fateful day? What was J-Lo's role in it? And did she really try to cover up for Diddy? Or was she just trying to save her own skin? So, on that fateful day, Diddy, rapper Shine, J-Lo, and their bad boy entourage had been partying through the night. They were celebrating the upcoming release of Shine's debut album, so you know they were looking to get pretty lit. However, the night took a dark turn when Diddy accidentally bumped into a guy named Matthew Allen.
So they were celebrating the release of Shine's album, and Shine goes from there and has to do 10 years and then gets deported right after that. So basically, Shine took the fall.
Also known as Scar. Scar happened to be a notorious gangbanger and an ex-convict. He pushed Diddy, and one of Scar's guys threw money in Diddy's face as if to say Diddy had overstepped. Never one to look away from perceived disrespect, Diddy reacted, leading to a showdown between both sides. It lasted a few minutes, but things moved so fast that you would have thought everything happened in a split second. Next thing you know, some people had pulled out their bang bangs, and shots were flying everywhere. 3 people got hit in the chaos, including a woman named Natanya Rubin, who was shot in the face. Before the dust settled, Diddy, J-Lo, and the rest of their entourage had hightailed it out of there. Diddy threw the gun he was holding in the trunk of his car as they made their escape with their hearts in their throats. Now, Diddy might have easily gotten away with this if they made it home with no troubles. But karma must really be a B because they ended up getting pulled over for running a red light, and that was where J-Lo's trouble started. See, J-Lo and Diddy were always an unlikely pair. J-Lo was a Hollywood sweetheart. She was a great dancer and singer, and an even better actress. Plus, she had the looks and charm that attracted both the media and fans to her like a magnet.
He was lucky to life, but at first I didn't like him at all. You know, I didn't. I thought he was like, you know, I didn't like him because, you know, Sean and I were very different that way. You know, I was very, like, family-oriented and a kind of a, you know, the marriage type. I was actually, when we first worked together in the video, I was married. You know, I was going through problems. Nobody knew that. You know what I mean? You know, I wanted my family even though that time was not going well. You know what I mean? That was who I was. That's how I was raised.
On the other hand, Diddy had a bad boy image. He was successful in his own right, bigger than J-Lo by far, but he was on the other end of the table when it came to public perception. You wouldn't catch anyone calling Diddy a sweetheart. He was more of a tough guy with just enough controversy to keep the media guessing. You could say they were opposites, and opposites attract.
It's Puff Daddy! It's Puff Daddy! Puppy! Just a few words, Over here. We're here for Rosie right now. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling great. How you feeling?
Good. So you're up for a nomination today, correct?
For one nomination. I don't know if I won or not. It's been a pre-award. Did you win?
I don't know. We don't know. Probably not since we haven't heard anything. But it's okay.
Wait, are you guys here together? Are you guys here together?
No.
However, J-Lo's family was never on board with her relationship with Diddy. Her mother was particularly against it because she didn't like Diddy, and she thought he was going to get her daughter into trouble one day.
If you recall, the last time that you were here,
Yes.
I was telling you that I could always see you get.
All done, Sue?
Yep, and not just with your hair. With the help of Xero's small business accounting software, I've sorted my...
Always see you getting back with Puffy in a little way.
I remember you said that. Yeah.
Or in my mind. Or in my mind, getting together permanently.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's crazy. Everybody came alive. They all had something to say.
Her mama in the crowd like, hell no.
Funny to me.
Her mama was like, oh hell nah. She ain't getting back with him.
Well, she wasn't wrong. After Diddy and J-Lo got pulled, the police found the smoking gun in their car and hauled them into the station. According to reports, J-Lo was losing it by this time. She was handcuffed, had her mugshot taken, and thrown into a cell like she wasn't the princess of Hollywood, and it was just too much for her. J-Lo was in shambles, crying and wailing the whole time. While she was at the station, her mom came in and was tearing her a new one about being with that dangerous man, Diddy. According to sources, J-Lo's mom yelled at her in Spanish, saying, "I told you to stay away from that man." Between the tears and the fact that J-Lo was probably seen as this innocent woman who fell in with the wrong crowd, she was allowed to go home.
We know what happened and we hope, that it all turns out the way it's supposed to.
You had to be disturbed by a report from New York paper yesterday.
Yeah.
It said an eyewitness along 8th Avenue as your car drove by saw a female hand throwing a gun out of the car. You're the only female in the car. You don't want to talk about it? You're very confident that Puffy will be found innocent in this trial? You going to testify? But you haven't been asked.
I haven't been asked questions.
It's a difficult time, man.
Diddy, Shine, and Wolf, one of the guys with them that night, didn't get the same treatment though. They were booked and charged and made it all the way to trial, where Diddy and Wolf were found not guilty, while Shine was found guilty and sent to jail for 10 years. However, it's kind of an open secret at this point that Diddy bribed his way out of jail and made Shine the fall guy. Allegedly, of course. Multiple insiders have reported that Diddy paid people to give false testimony in court, eventually allowing him to walk free. Diddy had previously tried to bribe his driver, Wardell Fenderson, to take responsibility for the gun, but the guy was not trying to get set up, so he refused. So, the next best thing Diddy could do was to line someone else up so he could walk free. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has spilled the tea about how Diddy paid people to lie that they saw Shine firing the guns that night. According to him, some of the people who testified at the trial had never even met Diddy or Shine for that matter.
People was coming to Bad Boy Security, Paul and other people, and said that they were there. So they were giving them the DA's and the lawyer's card and tell them to go make a statement. Some of the people who made a statement, they was making statements against Sean. Yo, bro, listen to me. Y'all heard it from me, but Sean said it himself in his interview. You supposed to be my brother, and you got people testifying against me. Those people were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed.
But that's not all. Shine didn't end up spending the full term before he was released from jail, but he was also booted out of the country, back to Belize where he came from. To make sure Shine would never show his face or expose Diddy again, Diddy paid him $1 million in hush money. Diddy also eventually settled with the 3 victims from the club incident for an undisclosed amount. And just like that, he had bought his way out of the criminal justice system. After the incident, Diddy went through a bunch of name changes. From Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to Diddy to Brother Love. It was all in an attempt to distance himself from his past and distract people from all the violence that happened for him to get to where he was in his career. But he didn't stop at changing his name because, well, a new shiny label can only get you so far. Diddy learned to cover his tracks better. From that point, he became extremely psychotic about maintaining control over the people around him, which helped him create a network of people who were blindly loyal to him. As for J-Lo, the incident marked the end of her and Diddy's relationship. At least.
So, but this crazy though, because they said afterwards, allegedly, I guess while she was married to Ben Affleck, all this alleged that she still was messing around with Puff.
To the public, J-Lo tried her best to move on with her career and distance herself from the whole thing. In interviews, J-Lo would deflect whenever she was asked about Diddy. She would either talk about him in a dismissive tone to let the interviewer know she didn't want to answer those questions or say something to shut the conversation down.
Because crazy. The public hearing was just kind of like a crazy heightened time in my life. You know, Puffy and I were like both grew up in the Bronx. He had been in the music business and had all the success. I was just starting making my first album when I met him. He became kind of a mentor to me in that moment. We had this kind of crazy, tumultuous relationship, and that ended like a bang, let's say. And and it was definitely a moment, but I felt like it was necessary. Like he was meant to be in my life at that moment to teach me what I needed to know about the music business, about what kind of artist I wanted to be in the music industry.
But here's the twist. According to reports, J-Lo might have stopped associating herself with Diddy to the public, but they were still tight behind the cameras. They eventually mended their relationship and grew closer as friends. Apparently, they even got so close that when Diddy's legal troubles started, J-Lo offered him support and a shoulder to lean on. She even offered to check on his kids, especially the younger ones. But wait, it gets worse. Remember Natanya Rubin, one of the victims of that NYC shooting? Well, it turns out that Diddy enlisted J-Lo's help in trying to silence the woman. Natanya has been on Diddy's case since that incident because she feels Diddy needs
to this day, the lady who got in the face, she said Shine didn't do it. She said it was Diddy.
to do time for what he did to her and the 2 other victims. She has done multiple interviews talking about her experience, and she even once revealed that she still has bullet fragments in her face from that incident.
It's dismissive to think that if someone files a lawsuit that they should be ridiculed. If I didn't suffer, I'm willing to have a doctor remove a part of the bullet in my face so that they can use it as evidence if need be. And it may cost me my life, but that I'm willing to do.
Wow.
So what do they have to say to that? I have 9 bullets. I'm sure I can spare one.
She got
However,
9 bullet
word on the street
fragments.
is that Diddy asked J-Lo to pay her hush money after the initial settlement, which Natanya refused. Now, after J-Lo managed to snag the love of her life, Ben Affleck, in holy matrimony for the 2nd time, then thought they were locked in for real this time. He acknowledged their differences and publicly pledged to work on them and be a better husband.
Leave me alone.
Crazy.
You know how hectic we
Hold on, I ain't got
get,
premium,
right?
everybody.
That's where
Give me
Bob
one
Sauce comes
second.
in. It's the sauce that turns what's for dinner.
Commercial.
Leave me alone at this point. I'm minding my business. I don't do anything. I don't say anything. Leave me alone. Please. Enough time has gone by where it's valid to leave me alone. I beg of you, truly. That's my only request.
Ben believed he and J-Lo were on the same page until he got the shock of his life when he was approached by the feds, who informed him that J-Lo was a person of interest in the NYC club shooting. Ben learned that the feds were looking at J-Lo not just as a witness, but as an active participant in the shooting. As if that wasn't scary enough, he was also informed that he was a person of interest since he was married to J-Lo and could have some valuable information about the incident. On top of that, there have also been rumors that the feds showed Ben clips of J-Lo at Diddy's freak-offs, and they spooked the heck out of him. Apparently, even though J-Lo broke up with Diddy.
So they said that the feds showed him some. Oh, this is alleged. This is hyperbole, y'all. We're just watching a video. This is all this alleged. They
She was still a frequent guest at his.
They saying that J-Lo from around the way, she on them tapes, my nigga. She on them tapes.
Parties. Not the regular parties, though. The after parties where the real thing goes down. Suge Knight spilled the tea about this on his podcast.
I'm quite sure they probably called the FBI, gave respect and a courtesy call up there after that. There's a white man who got respect in the white world. I'm quite sure they said, we want to show you some things. Because about your wife. When we see that I had him talking with them and who they were doing it, I'm quite sure they gave those tapes. And I'm quite sure he can remember if he heard him say. I'm quite sure they had no divorce. Because, you know, that's the man who had a good life. Great parents, don't spend a lot of money, ain't tripping out talking about you. We're living his life. He got his own team. She brought all the extra motherfucker. We wore out. He said, man, in jail, he could be broke. Instead of doing movies, he'd be doing Yum Yum Donuts commercials. Next thing he'd be doing.
After hearing all this, Ben bolted for his life and didn't look back. He didn't even bother confronting J-Lo. He just packed his things out of their $60 million mansion, got himself a little bachelor's condo, and told J-Lo she better start the divorce proceedings or he would.
You are totally right. People keep saying, why did Ben Affleck go along with it? And I'll admit, I was a little like, I don't know why he would go along with it. I mean, I think he really likes J-Lo. Also, keep in mind, like, I know Ben Affleck is not destitute by any means, but what anyone in the industry makes is not what it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Trust me, like, these people are thinking long term. So if his wife is like, listen, we gotta make some money on this tour, I think he takes that seriously. But even still, I thought, oh, this does feel like a little much, but you're totally right. Pumping up the divorce rumors, the separation rumors, really did get away from her being held accountable or questioned of anything about Diddy. So at that press conference where someone asked her about Ben Affleck, I know she did the whole let you know better. Which do we know better?
Crazy.
Chill out. But
this thing with Puffy done rolled over to a lot of different people. Jay-Z, it done rolled over to Terrence Howard, J-Lo. I mean, we asking about Justin Bieber. We wondering what happened to Usher. It's a lot of unanswered questions that with this whole case going on, we don't really know nothing, bro. We just hear the stories, but we don't know what really happened.
She would much rather get that than a question about Diddy. Brilliant. I cannot do it without you guys.
But now it looks like Ben took it even further than that and actually snitched on J-Lo to the feds. Since the trial started, rumors have started floating around that J-Lo might be called to testify against Diddy. It's a 6-week trial.
We're still going petty show. We're gonna go to the next one. This one got to do with Aaron Carter. Y'all remember I don't got premium, so we're gonna have to.
Need a free phone? Listen, if you are on SNAP, Medicaid, SSI, or
yeah, this is just the rabbit hole goes deep.
qualify for.
It's almost like when Kendrick Lamar said, "Watch." When Kendrick Lamar was had the song "Watch the Party Die." That's one of my favorite joints.
And Sony Records owes me $3.5 million, and they don't want to pay me, and it would be in their better interest, just like Michael told me. And Brad Paisley sued Sony Records for $10 million. They owe me money, and they're trying to kill me off. And I'm begging you and I'm pleading you, help me raise $100,000 as soon as I can.
Do you regret ever getting involved in?
I didn't have a choice. It got bad when I was about 15 years old.
I'm sick of this. Sick of these people. Sick of these
And these haters, the jealous people in real life too, and when all I did was protect that girl.
And I don't want to hear from none of these Jewish talk about, oh, he's in an episode. Harley Passion, they follow me to the hotel. They killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they don't care.
So this one of Kanye rants, and basically a lot of people looked at this rant like, Kanye, you just ranting. But now everything is kind of like lining up to where it don't sound like a rant. It sounds like Kanye was upset, mad, and basically was on a witch hunt to call these folks out. Cause he called Diddy out on the Drink Champs podcast.
New court documents just exposed a shocking message Aaron Carter left just hours before he was found unresponsive in his bathtub. And what's even more disturbing is that voicemail. Aaron named names and warned about Diddy, Sony Records, and the alleged plot to silence him. Fans have been speculating about different theories around Aaron's mysterious death, and these theories have officially reached the courtroom. We're hearing reports that federal investigators are looking into links between Diddy during suspicious deaths, including Aaron's, Porter's, and even Jamie Foxx's near-death scare. And here's where it gets even darker. Aaron had a long and messy history with the industry. He was pushed into it by his parents at a very young age, manipulated, used, and in the final months of his life, he was trying to escape it. He tweeted cryptic messages, claimed he was being followed, and told his fans he wasn't afraid to expose the truth. So what did Aaron actually say in that last voicemail before he died? Who was he trying to warn us about? And if Sony was part of it, how does that connect to all the other rumors about Sony shutting down stars like Michael Jackson and Angie Stone? Let's break it down.
And I'm begging you and I'm pleading you, help me raise $100,000 as soon as I can so I can move to an undisclosed location where I'm safe. My realtor won't sell my house. They're all involved in this. And they're trying to keep me there.
They said the realtors won't even sell the house. Like, that's messed up because it's like he might be in like a $3 or $4 million house, can easily clear like 3.5, probably pay the realtor his little piece. The realtor don't even want to get the money to even sell the property because they want to keep him, I guess, in a stagnant place or make sure they're able to keep tabs on him. Because he said he was trying to raise $100,000 so he can move to an undisclosed place where people won't know where he at. This man ended up passing away.
The final voicemail Aaron Carter left before his shocking death in November 2022 was allegedly played in court. And in this message, Aaron warned about some powerful people in the music industry, naming Diddy and Sony executives. What makes this even more disturbing is that this isn't the first time we're hearing about Sony allegedly silencing artists. They're actually rumored to be part of a shadowy network controlling stars and forcing them to push a certain agenda. And these rumors go way back, including some dark stories around Michael Jackson's untimely death.
So I'm leaving Sony a free agent.
Hey, so when I finish this one, I'm gonna try to find that. I'm gonna try to find the Shakir Stewart video. That's a deep video. We gotta do that one. Gotta do that one.
Owning half of Sony. I own half of Sony's publishing.
This man owned half of Sony's publishing. Like, Michael Jackson, bro, was smart, bro. Michael Jackson was smart. He kind of was too smart. That's why I feel like him and Prince ain't here right now because they was slide my nigga like some foxes, bro. Them dudes. Prince slid up out of a record contract by changing his name to a symbol. Like they was calling this man the artist formerly known as for years until the contract was up, and then he changed. Now that the famous Amos, the dude with the cookies, they took his name, and he was saying how he started the cookie business, and I guess after everything, I guess went out or whatever, they ended up owning his name, Amos. The famous Amos name. They own, another company owns his name. sign these record deals, bro, like your likeness and your, you know what I'm saying, who you are as a person, they control all of that. So if they want you to do something and you say no, they could knock money off your revenue coming in.
Tola is a devil.
And look, he called out Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola, I think that's the dude that was married to Mariah Carey. If I'm not mistaken, if y'all get the conversation, let me know.
What's also crazy is that Aaron apparently knew about Sony's plans to silence MJ, and he even spoke about how his mom wanted him to lie and accuse Michael of touching
Oh yeah, I
him.
remember this.
There's 4 FBI agents.
I talked about this on one of my earlier lives. I mean, y'all go back and try to find it, but basically, just the story. He's actually telling this story, and he's saying that the police came to him and asked him about what happened with him and Michael Jackson. He was like, nothing happened with me and Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, a lot of people wanted to put that on Michael Jackson's jacket so bad, but at the end of the day, you can't put that on his jacket if y'all done took him to court twice, and basically at the end of the day, you know, Michael Jackson never went to jail. I mean, he probably went to a holding cell and got right back out, but Michael Jackson never did no time behind messing with no minors or nothing like that.
For me in the hotel room, and my mom's there. She's like, "Tell him what happened." And I'm like, "What do you mean, tell them what happened?" And I sit down with them, and they all ask these super sexually exploited, you know, questions, backsided questions, and I knew that at my age already. And I looked at all 4 of them and I said, "Are y'all crazy?" I said, "What you think I'm gonna do? Tell you that Michael did something bad so that we can sue him for money?"
Wow.
That's what I told him. I was like, and I looked over at my mom and I was like, "Are you serious, Mom?"
Damn, that's crazy. They tried to set Michael Jackson up. Well, his mama.
Domino's special
Hold on, y'all.
4 tasty topping combos loaded on.
They tried to set Mike up, bro.
With my mom, and I was like, "Are you serious, Mom?" I was like, "What is going on here? Why are you letting this happen?" And she goes, "Well," "Oh, I think something happened, you know, I think something." I'm like,
she thinks something happened.
Really? That man did nothing but be hospitable, kind, loving, giving. Is this? I was like, I looked at my mom, I go, "Are you really trying to go at Michael and use me for a money grab?"
Damn.
I was like, "No," and I looked at him right now, I said, "Nothing happened."
Now, fans and inside.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dog.
Have been pointing fingers at Sony for everything from suppressing artists' creative control to allegedly orchestrating their downfalls when they step out of line. So Aaron's voicemail now comes with all these heavy implications that he was trying to expose something dangerous about the people behind the scenes, people who allegedly enabled and financed Diddy's criminal operation. And since federal investigations are now reportedly looking into Diddy's connections to multiple suspicious deaths, Aaron's name has come up in court. Now,
Maybe have some good background music, but that should be
but
like.
fans are convinced there was always something darker at play, something that goes way beyond personal demons. And if what he said in that last voicemail is true, it sounds like Aaron is ready to speak out before
Taliban ban the machinery. Hey,
on November 5th,
fuck this cash up. Hey,
after Diddy's birthday,
I'ma fuck this cash up, bitch.
that
Hey,
declared dead on arrival. Now, at first, most people just
I'ma fuck this cash up, nigga. Hey, I'ma fuck this cash up,
The police
bitch.
also initially claimed they didn't see anything suspicious. But over the last 3 years, some really strange and disturbing details about Aaron's last moments have started to surface. So the initial police report said a housekeeper found him in his bathtub. However, the exact cause of death wasn't shared with the public right away. In fact, an LA Times article from just 2 days before Aaron's death said the coroner's
That beat crazy, bro. That shit sound like so.
until they finished chemical tests. Now, toxology reports usually take a few weeks to finish, but in Aaron's case, it wasn't until April 2023. 5 months after he died, that the results were finally made public. That's when the LA County Medical Examiner officially said Aaron's death was accidental, saying he drowned after taking Xanax and inhaling compressed gas. Now, when the news first...
So, I didn't know that part. They basically say he was on Whippets. And hold on, what else? Hold on. What did they say? Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to run it back. Okay, hold on.
Months after he died, that the results were finally made public. That's when the LA County Medical Examiner officially said Aaron's death was accidental, saying he drowned after taking Xanax and inhaling compressed gas. Now, when the news first...
So they say he was on Xan and Whippets. So that part, I didn't know that part. And they say he drowned in a pool. And they say it was accidental. I don't know,
But how Aaron
guys.
died, most fans figured it had to do with substances or alcohol. And that's because for years, the headlines talked about his addiction struggles, and Aaron was pretty honest about dealing with them. Besides that, Aaron also faced food issues and body shaming, and just a few years before he passed, he went to treatment to get help with those problems.
I have a stress condition. It's an eating disorder. How would you feel every 2 seconds seeing a tweet, you have AIDS, go die? Oh, look at this meth head. Oh, meth kills. Crack kills. Look at my teeth. Right? Look at my teeth. Look at my face. I'm not a meth head. I never touched it in my life. It's body shaming. It is the toughest thing to deal with.
So basically, he probably got a eating disorder that's like reverse, not binge eating, but like not eating. I don't know what you would call that. If y'all know, get in the comment section. Any of my people in here that are sound with that type of terminology. But it sounds like he had something like I wouldn't say anorexia, but you know, he was very slim. Like you hear him saying, you know, he doesn't do anything like the meth drug or the C-Rack. He didn't, you know, crazy.
I get Valuma fillers, okay, to fill up my face.
Because you lost so much weight that it sunk in.
No, it's just how I'm built.
And because Aaron had so many issues,
He say he just built like everything. Cause I know some people, bro. I know when I was younger, it was a little dude from Africa, and bro, this man's skin was like fucking like I could pinch my shit like this. This man's shit was like almost like it looked like it was his. You could pull the skin like this right here, like I ain't never seen no shit like that before. It was down there like the motherfucker was like an alien or something. The way he could pull his skin like, and that shit would just be like a fuck. It looked like a mask down there. Real story, like real talk, no
some
lie.
people thought he might have taken his own life, especially since he wasn't close with his family and didn't really have much support around him. But then things started getting weird, and a lot of people online began saying the official story didn't add up. Fans started rewatching old videos Aaron had posted just days before he died, and in a bunch of them, he talked about not feeling safe in his house and said he was scared for his life.
9 days ago, Aaron Carter had this to say.
Do you own your own home in Georgia, but still rent?
Nope, but I own my own home in Florida.
Homeowners in specific zip codes who...
9 days ago, Aaron Carter had this to say.
I'm afraid for my life. Anybody else have neighbors from hell, or am I the only one too? They don't deserve an exclamation, sweetheart. None of them do. No, they don't. And that's why I'm just moving. So, my property is completely secluded. These neighbors have been the scariest, worst people. I was threatened by them, by a gang.
But that's not all. Aaron's neighbors, Anthony and Amanda Chevelle, who both have medical training, claim they tried to help after hearing the 911 call through a police scanner. However, the person watching Aaron's house wouldn't let them in. According to the Daily Mail, Amanda, who's a registered nurse,
Wow.
her defibrillator.
So that sound like they wanted this man to pass away. That's what that sound like, bro. That like we're gonna run that back. Hold on, listen to this right here. We gotta run that back one more time. Here we We gotta run that shit back. Hold on.
Tried to help after hearing the 911 call through a police scanner. However, the person watching Aaron's house wouldn't let them in.
You wouldn't let them
According
in?
to the Daily Mail, Amanda, who's a registered nurse,
Come on.
grabbed her defibrillator bag and was ready to jump in. But when they got to the door, the house sitter told them she wasn't allowed to let them inside. And Amanda later said the woman actually locked the front door and then ran off. And what makes the whole thing even stranger is that the house sitter reportedly also tried to keep the police from coming in when they showed up just mid.
That sounds sus. That sounds sus. As a bad bus, bro. For real. That sounds sus, my nigga. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. That sounds
Later.
like some...
And let's be real, that is super sketchy. Because even if she didn't know the neighbors, why block the cops? What if there was still a chance to help Aaron? But that's not where it ends. There's also a theory involving Aaron's ex-fiancée, Melanie Martin. About a year before he died, it came out that Aaron had broken things off with her because he believed she was secretly working with his family to get him put under a conservatorship.
But apparently she was in communication with his family to put him under a conservatorship. Or at least that's what he thinks she's doing. Yes, the same type of conservatorship that Britney Spears fought years to get out of. So of course,
ain't no way in hell like Britney Spears and all them, bro, like that whatever that conservatorship or whatever that is. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be grown 40-some years old and motherfucker gonna tell me what I'm gonna do with my money. Britney Spears ain't never had a child, my nigga. Come on, bro. She never had a kid, bro. She never had.
is very upset.
Basically, she worse than Michael Jackson. She ain't never had it. They always was controlling you.
At Melanie Martin, they split up. We'll see what happens.
By the way, Melanie had also been arrested before for getting physical with Aaron. And later on, Aaron posted the YouTube video where he explained exactly what she did to him.
My ex-girlfriend is now in jail for domestic violence. She choked my trachea out. She ripped my arms open. She ripped my back open, and she punched me where I got my tooth pulled out. So, and it hurt my trachea so bad that I can't speak.
Aaron also ended up filing a restraining order against Melanie, and he also went to court to try and get full custody of their
She
son.
choked them so bad that, damn.
Now, it's not really clear if Aaron and Melanie made up before he passed. Some reports say they had reconnected shortly before he died, while others claim they weren't on good terms. But here's where it gets even sketchier. Many fans thought it was super weird that right after Aaron died, Melanie showed up with 2 moving trucks at his house. At that point, the police were still investigating, so people were confused about how she was even allowed to do that. Plus, why would she need 2 huge trucks when she didn't even live there full time? So with all the shady stuff going on around Aaron's fiancée, some fans started wondering if she might have been one of those pay-to-Hollywood handlers sent to keep him under control. And then when it comes to Aaron's family, things were always very messy and dysfunctional. Aaron had even accused his brother Nick of mistreating him in the past. And he also said that their sister Leslie had done things to him when he was just 10. Things he believed she didn't fully realize were wrong.
No, respect me. I'm gonna go to sleep at 12. Okay, go to sleep at 12. But please don't miss it. You say this every night. Yeah, but let me tell you something real quick. You're gonna turn the music down and respect me. All right? Spit in my face. All right? Don't spit in my face. All right? You don't respect me. Don't spit in my face. Respect me. Don't spit in my face, Nick. Don't spit in my face. I'm sick of you doing this to me. Stop it. Stop it. You don't respect. Stop it. What are you doing?
Man, he spit in his face, bro.
You don't respect my house in my room. What are you doing?
But hang on, because this is where things get even darker. Some sources are now saying that powerful people in Hollywood, the same so-called elites who have allegedly been covering for Diddy all these years, might have had something to do with Aaron's death. According to these claims, Aaron was getting ready to speak out about the dark side of the industry. He was supposedly planning to drop names and expose some of the people at the very top. And get this, the very last thing Aaron ever tweeted on November 4th, just one day before he was found unresponsive, was a direct message to Kanye West that said, "Yo, Kanye, let's talk, man to man." Now, you probably remember how Kanye was getting dragged all over the place in late 2022 after he started calling out the people he claimed were really running things in Hollywood. And in just a few weeks, he lost most of his business deals and half his net worth. But that wasn't even the scariest part. Right before Aaron tried to contact Kanye had gone gone public about something serious. He exposed his former personal trainer, Harley Pasternak, for allegedly threatening to have him locked up. Kanye even posted screenshots of texts from Harley, and in one of them, Harley told him he'd either have to sit down and have a talk, or get sent away to a mental institution where they'll medicate the crap out of you and go back to Zombieland forever. Harley even threatened Kanye by bringing up his children and added, "Playdate with the kids just won't be the same." And if you're wondering how a celebrity trainer could have that kind of power to lock someone up, here's where it gets wild. Turns out Harley Pasternak used to work for Canada's Department of National Defense. He was reportedly based at a military lab that studied all kinds of substances and psychological tactics. So this guy wasn't just into fitness. He had a serious background in mind control and psyops.
So I did degrees in kinesiology, exercise physiology, degree in nutrition, a master's degree in exercise physiology, and I was working on my PhD on exercise physiology and nutrition, got recruited by the military to help run essentially the superhuman lab, this laboratory called the Defense and Civil Institute of Environmental Medicine. And the area that I was interested in was how drugs and food affect muscular performance. And
when you say drugs, are they like performance enhancing drugs? Are they
all kinds of drugs?
Right. Okay.
So working for the military, I wasn't governed by the same laws that the typical person was, so I could look at the impact of certain drugs that are not everyday things.
But it wasn't just Harley who was coming at Kanye after he started calling out the big names behind the scenes in the industry. Kanye also said that Diddy was blowing up his phone, sending a bunch of texts and trying to meet up with him face to face, right around the same time Harley was pressuring him to have a talk. Diddy kept asking Kanye for his address, but Kanye wasn't having it. He texted back saying, "This ain't a game. I'm gonna use you as an example to show the Jewish people that told you to call me that no one can threaten or influence me. I told you this was war. Now go on and get you some business." And get this, TMZ also published an article about Kanye running into Diddy at Rolling Loud Festival, and Kanye later reportedly accused Diddy of threatening him on behalf of unnamed Jewish people. So now when you think about Aaron's last voicemail, allegedly warning about Diddy and even mentioning Sony, it suddenly makes a lot more sense why people are so suspicious. Diddy's ongoing trial, the dark rumors about Sony silencing stars like Michael Jackson, and now the feds digging into the strange deaths of people connected to Diddy, it all feels like pieces of one big puzzle. And maybe now, with authorities finally connecting the dots, we'll get the real story behind Aaron's death. But what's your take on all this? Was Aaron silenced because he knew too much? Is this all just a tragic coincidence? Or is there something much darker going on behind the scenes? And what role does Sony really play in all this? Drop your thoughts and theories in the...
It's crazy. Alright, I'm gonna look up this video I want to show y'all. Damn, it look like the Petty Show got Shakir Stewart stuff on here. All right, we're going back to the Petty Show. But this is what I was talking about earlier. Shakir Stewart. I ain't got premium.
Unfortunately, L.A. Reid is in Atlanta tonight paying his last respects to Shakir Stewart, whose recent tragic death took away one of the lights of our world.
And I'm talking to him on the phone, and he was actually broken, shaking all the way up. Like, why did Shakir do this to us? Right? I'm like, what happened? He's like, I'm like, yo, tell me, yo, what's going on? And he was like, I don't know. I said, yo, Shakir just ain't gonna kill himself over anything.
So, it looks like we might finally get the much-needed closure in Shakir Stewart's mysterious death, because word on the curve is that the feds are planning to reopen the case after some new bombshell evidence connected to the case dropped during the Diddy trial. Shakir Stewart was at the...
So Shakir Stewart was basically, like you said, at the height of his career. He was dating the lady Kim Porter, and all of a sudden they just found him dead, like he killed himself. So, like, you're talking to Diddy baby mama, and then you just end up unaliving yourself. Now, all of that, it don't make sense. Diddy making dollars right now.
Heights of his career when he mysteriously turned up dead with what looked like a self-inflicted GS wound. However, the details of that incident are still foggy. The one thing we do know is that Diddy flew into a rage when he found out that his baby mama, Kim Porter, had started going out with Shakir when they were on a break. Word on the street is that he threatened to unalive Shakir in front of multiple people, but here's where it gets creepy. Apparently, there's new evidence that places Diddy near Shakir's home around the time it's believed he passed away. But that still doesn't answer one question. How did Diddy get away with it for so long? And is it true that Shakir left clues about his death in a secret side note? Let's break it down.
Wow. Let's break it down.
Shakir Stewart turned up in his home with a self-inflicted GS wound and no explanations. He was one of the most powerful people in the music industry. His death left a huge gap in the lives of his family and friends, and left the industry grappling with too many questions and too little answers. After his death, Shakir's fiancée, Michelle Rivers, revealed that Shakir had been acting odd in the days leading up to when his body was found. His record label, Def Jam, also released a statement that more or less confirmed this belief. They said, Shakir was an amazing man in every sense of the word, a truly incredible friend and father who was an inspiration to not only our artists and employees, but to his family and the many people that he had the privilege of counting him as a friend. Our hearts and prayers go out to his family at this very difficult time. But that wasn't all. They also talked about how Shakir had apparently been dealing with a lot, and he kept his problems hidden from his family and loved ones. Over the past several weeks, Shakir's behavior was inconsistent with the man we all know and love. As much as we tried to help him, Shakir was in deep pain and largely suffering in silence. His boss, L.A. Reid, also later stated, whatever his problems were, he kept them hidden. To this day, I miss him. The loss was devastating. However, a lot of people weren't buying this story because something about it just seemed too clean. It was almost like the perfect cover-up. And y'all know when it comes to Hollywood, any puzzle that seems to fit together too perfectly is probably hiding a much darker, uglier truth.
His wife said it best, and everybody has to pay attention to the words, because words mean a lot.
Absolutely.
She said, I can't quote it word for word, but I can get it close. Shakir was not himself these past few months before he did this to himself.
What could it have been? What could it have been?
Obviously, he did something that wasn't supposed to have been done, and somebody was going to remind him about what was going on, and he was like, if you put this out.
One of them tapes, he probably had to do something before to something and for the wrong side. You dig? If you know, you know. And they were probably gonna put that tape out on that boy.
My wife is gonna know. My kid is gonna know. I heard the actual truth.
What is the truth?
See, the truth, like they said when they told you.
Come on, it'll set you free. It'll set you free. The truth will set you free.
Well, the truth is basically, if you look at what his wife said.
Yes.
His wife said it, and we're gonna leave her words and let her words be the last word that represent him, because we're gonna owe her that.
See, Shakir Stewart wasn't just another name in the industry. This guy held power in the boardrooms and pulled weight in the streets. He was the kind of guy that seemed to have gotten the hang of both street smarts and business savvy. But by far, the best thing about Shakir was that he had an eye for talent and could sense a star from a mile away. Shakir built himself from scratch, literally. In college, he developed his people skills by being at the heart of
It's crazy. This is crazy.
every party you could think of. Everyone knew Shakir threw the best parties. He was the kind of guy who would pass out flyers at 7 clubs a night, 7 days a week, in 20-degree weather. After graduating...
So he was like Diddy. He threw parties and stuff too, because Diddy, that's how he got his name.
From Morehouse College in Atlanta, he scraped together the few bucks he made from throwing parties in college and started a record label with his friends. You know that thing we said about Shakir having an eye for talent? That's like one of the most important skills you need to make it as a label owner in the industry. And Shakir Shakir had it down to a science. It didn't take long for L.A. Reid to notice him. At the time, L.A. Reid was setting up his company, Hitco Music Publishing, so it only made sense for him to bring someone who had his finger on the pulse of the next generation of hot producers in the Atlanta music scene.
Crazy shit, crazy. Yeah,
Shakir Stewart. Shakir quickly became L.A. Reid's right-hand man and trusted advisor as he built a record label filled with the next generation of superstars, like Beyonce. In 2000, Shakir became the A&R consultant for Layface Records, during which he signed Ciara to the label. In 2000,
y'all know this AI, they said Layface Records. We all know it's LaFace. We all know it's LaFace.
Shakir became the vice president and then senior vice president of A&R for Def Jam, and he signed artists like Young Jeezy and Rick Ross. In 2008, he succeeded Jay-Z as executive vice president of Def Jam, which was the last position he held before he unfortunately lost his life. On the 1st of November, 2008, Shakir Stewart was found in the bathroom of his house in Marietta, an Atlanta suburb. He was found with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gun.
I didn't even know this happened in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta. That's the suburbs, Marietta. That's like North Atlanta. That's down there where the Migos and them from. Yeah. I used to live in North Atlanta, Sandy Springs. Like, that's North. Alpharetta is when you get dumb, you get stupid north when you go in Alpharetta. You damn near in another place.
Shot wound and was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead.
And everybody has a great respect for that man. You know, it's one of the things that, with all that you heard about Shakir, I never can say I heard anything bad. Now, we heard talk, but I would say I heard anything bad. Now, what is your take on his alleged suicide? I'm not sure that was confirmed or whatever. You know, his passing. What is your take on that, and how deep does that really go?
Something really was bothering Shakir, and it wasn't. You know, a lot of people say that it was the stress from the job. You know, Shakir went to Morehouse. First, he worked with Noontime, and then he went to Hitco. So I seen this income. He didn't have no reason to be stressed about no music. I can walk away from this today, so it ain't gonna be the stress from the job.
Okay.
It wasn't my wife was cheating on me or my daughter or whatever. It wasn't that. So we're gonna outrule that. Matter of fact, when it first happened, my man who's in the book, V, was one of the first people that was there. And I'm talking to him on the phone, and he was actually broken, shaking all the way up. Like, why did Shakir do this to us? Right? I'm like, what happened? He's like, I'm like, yo, tell me, what's going on? And he was like, I don't know. I said, yo, Shakir just ain't gonna kill himself over anything.
Bruh, that might have something to do with Diddy. That sounds like Diddy doing right there. I mean, all this alleged, bro. I ain't trying to put no extra stuff on there, man, but that sound like some Diddy stuff, bro. Like, that's what it sound like to me. It sound like some Diddy stuff, bro. Like, the man is at the height of his career, he just gonna commit S-side? No. It don't sound right to me. It don't sound right.
However, a lot of things didn't add up about Shakir's death, the main one being his relationship with Kim Porter and the link with Diddy. So, Kim Porter and Shakir Stewart dated briefly in 2000, when she was on a break from Diddy. However, at the time, Diddy was known for his insane anger issues. He put tabs on Kim, monitored who she saw and what she did with them, and even had people following her.
When Kim cut his wrist, it's an incident that him and Kim had when she took the corkscrew when they were fighting, you know, and ripped his whole wrist off. That's what helped Puff. That's how Puff got on drugs. You understand? Those painkillers, because Kim wasn't taking it from him. So.
Wow. Because I heard in the beginning.
My whole thing about it is that.
So I heard, like they said, just like Michael Jackson, a lot of other people, in the beginning they said Diddy didn't even really, do drugs, like all no hard drugs like that. But I guess they say after that incident with Kim Porter, she stabbed him, and I guess he was going through pain. A lot of people go through that cycle though. They will they'll get in a bad car accident, get on oxycodones or whatever, like Percocets, and then they have a addiction to it after a certain amount of time of using it, and it turns into sometimes really bad drug use.
There was always abuse between those two, physically. But Kim got tired of it and she wasn't taking it. If he put his hands on her, she was going after him.
When Diddy found out about Kim's little romance with Shakir, he completely lost it and flipped out on her. He even allegedly put his hands on her, leaving her with a broken nose. Now, almost every trace of this incident has been wiped off the internet, but there's this one report from 2005 saying Kim was left with a broken nose after the couple argued on Combs' yacht in St. Tropez. The article then reported that Diddy flew in a specialist plastic surgeon from Geneva after the accident. Kim has since claimed that she hurt her face after she banged her nose on a table. Diddy felt so enraged about the idea of Kim seeing Shakir that he allegedly threatened to deal with him the moment he could get his hands on him, and he finally got his chance in the summer of 2000. That summer, Diddy and Shakir ended up at Ellen Reid's wedding in Italy. Diddy reportedly pulled up to Shakir's room after the wedding and broke a chair on his head. Rolling Stone did a whole expose about Diddy's likely involvement in Shakir's death, and his mom finally opened up about the incident. She said Diddy left Shakir bleeding on a hotel floor in Italy.
Damn. This shit ain't even... Damn, this shit... This is diabolical. This shit diabolical, my nigga. So Diddy done beat the man up before they said Diddy broke a chair over the man's head. Like, all this alleged, but hey, if it's true and they putting all these pieces together, bro, Diddy is a horrible man.
He had to have stitches, and then Diddy threatened him. I'm going to off you. That's when I said you need to get out of this business. This man is crazy. But that's not all. Diddy's obsession and control didn't stop even after Kim stopped seeing Shakir. A source close to them once revealed that Diddy tracked Shakir down and roughed him up. The source said Kim was seeing Shakir and Diddy found out and he went crazy. He tracked Shakir down to his hotel. Then Diddy went up there without security and beat him to a bloody pulp. It's not clear if this source was talking about the Italy incident or some other one, but it was clear to a lot of people that Diddy had it out for Shakir and was more than capable of harming him. I mean, it wouldn't be the only time Diddy got violent with another man because they chatted with a woman he felt belonged to him. Kid Cudi recently finished testifying about the time Diddy threatened him and said his
Kid Cudi. Y'all know that's AI. Kid Cudi, come on now. It's Cudi AI.
car on fire, all because he dated Cassie.
Scott Biscotti, also known as rapper Kid Cudi, just finished testifying about what he says happened with Combs in 2011 and 2012. Biscotti had a brief relationship with Cassie Ventura during this time, and Combs allegedly made threats against him because of it. Biscotti testified that he believes Combs actually broke into his house and testified that a few months later, a Molotov cocktail was placed on his porch, damaging his car. He told the jury he reached out to Combs after his car caught fire and described him with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain.
During his testimony, Kid Cudi described Diddy as a Marvel supervillain. He claimed he didn't know that Cassie was still with Diddy when he was involved with her, although he knew about the DV. Cassie suffered from Diddy. One day, Cassie randomly called him and told him that Diddy had found out about their relationship. She sounded scared, so Kid Cudi went to pick her up and took her to a hotel where she could hide out because Diddy was crashing out. While she was at the hotel, Cassie received a call from one of Diddy's men, a guy named Capricorn Clark, saying they were at Kid Cudi's home. Diddy also allegedly called Kid Cudi.
They definitely got that wrong. Capricorn Clark is a female. A guy named that. Like, look, y'all. I don't know who type AI in to say this, but it wasn't a guy. It was Capricorn Clark is a woman.
When he was involved with her. Although he knew about the DV, Cassie suffered from Diddy. One day, Cassie randomly called him and told him that Diddy had found out about their relationship. She sounded scared, so Kid Cudi went to pick her up and took her to a hotel. she could hide out because Diddy was crashing out. While she was at the hotel, Cassie received a call from one of Diddy's men, a guy named Capricorn Clark, saying they were at Kid Cudie's home. Diddy also allegedly called Kid Cudi and told him he was waiting for him at his house. Fast forward to 2012, and Kid Cudie's dog sitter called him to inform him that his Porsche was on fire in his driveway.
So I think all this happened the same time that it happened with his car. So they said that basically his house was broken into and something happened to the dog. And he was saying, on the stand after basically the house was broken in, the dog was acting like, like something happened to him. And to this day, we don't know what happened to Kid Cudi's dog. Like, that's horrible, bro. Like, what did you do to the dog, Diddy? Like, what did you do? What did you do, sir?
Mind you, Kid Cudi was just 45 minutes away from his house at the
Bless that dog hard. Lord have mercy, Jesus.
time. After investigation, it was discovered that a Molotov cocktail had been thrown inside the Porsche from the top of the car. Now, Diddy never really came out to admit that he was the one that set Kid Cudi's car on fire, but he basically told Cassie his entire plan months before he did it. Also, years after setting Kid Cudi's car on fire, he sort of apologized to him, although he didn't specify what exactly he was apologizing for. And guess what? That wasn't Diddy's first or only time getting violent with people either. In fact, there have been reports of him being involved in unaliving multiple people, especially when they try to expose him.
Ken's dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al, and Al almost.
Let me hear the first name she said.
In fact, there have been reports of him being involved in unaliving multiple people, especially when they try to expose him.
Ken's dead. Heavy D is dead.
What did she say?
Either. In fact, there have been reports of him being involved in unaliving multiple people, especially when they try to expose him.
Ken's dead. Heavy D is dead.
I couldn't hear the first one.
Andre Harrell is dead. The only two left are Puffy and Al almost died.
Kim Porter, go on. Yeah, but this wild work right here, bro. Like, I just think what's going on with Diddy, hey, it was time for it to happen. My bad, y'all. I don't got premium.
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. They have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
Yes, she's telling the truth. I just said this earlier on one of my earlier lives. Some of these poisons that they put in people's bodies can show up, like especially if it doesn't kill you, it shows up as a pneumonia. It forms as pneumonia in your body because it's a toxin.
Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and he said no. You want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late on Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Short was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma.
But wait, there's more. There have also been rumors that Shakir Stewart and Diddy's beef wasn't just about Shakir being involved with Porter or Diddy's jealousy. Allegedly, Shakir Shakir also had some important on Diddy. In fact, it is believed that Shakir had dirt on a whole lot of people in the industry, and he knew about many of the industry's shadings. There's this phone call from an anonymous person that's been making the rounds. A lot of people believe that the caller is Shakir Stewart. And let's just say he had some pretty interesting things to say about the industry.
There's just a few points that I want to bring to the forefront for those who not only are awake to some degree and are still trying to help other people see, but also for those who, have no ammunition. They don't have any type of history being a person maybe who works on the inside of the type of industry, such as the entertainment business, who knows things, that happen, and we don't discuss these things. When you're inside, you don't discuss these things. You just do what you do and you keep it moving. There's something I wanted to bring to the forefront with a number of artists. You can find a new video on YouTube called Universal Mind Control. The artist's name is Common Sense. This is in the hip hop genre. And Pharrell, both very big artists. And if you look at the video, you will see Pharrell dressed in a robot head. Now, part of what we've been discussing and part of what anyone who's involved in this business already knows, because we do get high information from certain sources, there is a blending there's a dehumanization of humans, and there is a humanization of machines.
For whatever reason, there are also the rumors that Shakir was on the DL and Diddy got some dirt on him and threatened to expose him, which led him to take his life.
They might say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna give you $1 million. I'm gonna give you $2 million, I'm gonna give you $100 million, but before I do that, I just wanna take a couple of pictures with your shirt off and your pants off too. And then you be like, $100 million, shirt and no pants. Okay, that's what they be doing. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So then now, here go your $100 million. So then now you sitting there with your girl. She got the diamonds in the fur on, she look good. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden you see somebody in the background flashing those pictures in that envelope like this, telling you to come in. We need to talk to you. You be like, wow, now you got me by the balls. Yes. You understand? Yes. So then that's when a lot of things come in to play too, without me having to speak on other things.
But here's the twist. The feds are reportedly planning to reopen this case, and they're going to call a whole bunch of witnesses to see if there's any link between Diddy and Shakir's death. So, what are your thoughts about this whole thing? Do you think Diddy might have had a hand in Shakir Stewart's death? And do you think the case needs to be reopened? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and then check out this next video.
Shit, we gotta go back. Let's go back. Hold on, y'all. I don't know, I might want to check this out. This is called Culture Spill. Might want to check this one out. Might be the last one. I'm trying to go 2 hours. I'm trying to go 2 hours. Let me see. Culture Spill, y'all. Y'all check out Culture Spill. Freestyle Fanaticz podcast featuring Culture Spill.
Buying a car is kind of a big deal.
Man, got premium. Man, I cash app in the description. Hit that crack, get that cash app up, goddamn, so I get some of that good. That good Wi-Fi in here. But yeah, man, that Shakir Stewart, man, that was that was crazy. Man just ended his life for basically no reason. It makes no sense to me, bro. Like none. It made me feel like
when I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakir Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad.
So the dude that's talking, I actually know his sister.
That made him so mad at Shakir Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair.
So as it turns out, the way that Diddy knew about what was happening between Kim Porter and Shakir Stewart was that he had wired Kim's house and tapped her phone. So what's to say that he didn't continue following and threatening Shakir even after he broke up with Kim? And after learning about how Diddy broke a chair over Shakir's head and literally left him there to bleed out, child, it's beginning to look like Diddy was the one who pushed Shakir to his death, all because he fell in love with Kim. Allegedly, Diddy's kids are also beginning to see him for who he really is. And word on the street is that Quincy is just about done. No wonder he was out here sharing creepy songs and cringy clown makeup on his birthday. But you know what? Kim's father, Jake Porter, also spoke up about the allegations that had made rounds about Diddy recently. And he said that he is, for lack of a better word, disgusted. I know, many of us had no idea that Kim's dad was even still alive. Anyway, it might also surprise you to learn that he was speaking more about Cassie and not about Kim. And that is making a lot of people look at him sideways. Like, what does he know exactly? Well, we'll get to that shortly, but first, let's figure out exactly what Diddy may have done to Kim's ex, Shakir. Okay, for a bit of background, Shakir began his career by distributing flyers at clubs before he started working at LaFace Records and Hitco Music Publishing. After that, he started working at Def Jam, where he was the one responsible for signing some of the top artists in entertainment, from Rick Ross to Young Jeezy. When he previously worked with the Hitco Publishing Company, he signed Beyonce, and when he worked with Arista Records, he signed Ciara. And these are just some of the artists he signed. Unfortunately, in November 2008, Shakir unalived himself, and his friend Herb Smith said in a police report that he went over to Shakir's home at the request of his fiancée, Michelle Rivers, to talk to Shakir about his change in behavior that concerned her. Michelle told police that she noticed a change in Shakir when he arrived home on October 31st, but he wouldn't tell her if anything was wrong. And after that, they went out for Halloween, and she called Herb to talk to him after they returned home. Now, Herb told the police that he noticed a behavioral change in Shakir when he arrived at the house, and he said that Shakir was wigging out. In the police report, Herb also said that while trying to talk to him, Shakir began telling him to leave, and he told him to go back home to his wife and children because he did not need to be at his house. Then when Herb stepped outside the house, he heard a loud bang from inside the house, and when he went inside, he found Shakir on the master bedroom floor. After his death, Michelle released a statement through the record label that read, "Over the past several weeks, Shakir's behavior was inconsistent with the man we all know and love. As much as we all tried to help him, Shakir was in deep pain and largely suffering in silence." Then Def Jam.
Like, what kind of pain can you be in if you at the height of your career, your life is going good, and you just unalive yourself? Like, that don't sound, it sound like Diddy got something to do with this shit. Right?
Also released a statement at the time reading, "Shakir was an amazing man in every sense of the word, a truly incredible friend and father who was an inspiration to not only our artists and employees, but to his family and the many people that had the privilege of counting him as a friend." But the thing is, his death was shocking to a lot of people, especially considering that most of the people who were around at the time said that Shakir was loving, loyal, funny, supportive, smart, and most of all, he loved life. So it didn't make sense that he would one day get up and decide to end it all. And that brings us to the connection with Diddy. So this story about Shakir.
You might have to look up the dude that was on Ellen, the dancing dude after this one. Cause that right there, that's a weird case too. Like, the dude, say like the happiest person on the planet, goes to a hotel room and unalive himself. It just don't. Something just don't sound right about it.
Came up again after Rolling Stone dropped a damning article revealing stories of Diddy's alleged behavior in very disturbing detail. They spoke to dozens of former employees and collaborators, and almost all of them said the exact same thing about Diddy. There were actually people confirming that Diddy was cruel to Kim, with Mark Curry even talking about what he himself witnessed, saying, "I remember Kim used to stuff. If you live around them, you get to see the toxic relationship." I think every relationship he had that I experienced around him was like that. Now, when it comes to Kim, one particular story shared involved Diddy taking revenge on Shakir for dating Kim, and Shakir's own mom said that there was an incident that involved Diddy threatening her son because Diddy never allowed anyone else to ever date Kim. Apparently, Diddy left Shakir bleeding on a hotel floor in Italy after breaking a chair on his head, and Shakir's mom narrated that ordeal to Rolling Stone, saying, "He
left him bleeding on a hotel floor in Italy. He had to have stitches, and then he threatened him. That's when I said, you need to get out of this business. This man is crazy. You see, the thing with Diddy is that he made sure that if he was not with Kim, nobody else was allowed to have her. In fact, I remember when Kim previously...
And the craziest thing about that is, like, I mean, it's a lot of females and men the same way. They'll be cheating on their supposedly significant other. But soon as the significant other goddamn look like they got something going on, or you know what I'm saying, somebody showing them some attention, they get upset. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because like you want to take cake and eat it too.
He told Essence that while they were separated and he was dating Jennifer Lopez, Diddy would call her 50 times a day, adding, it was like my life was not my own. He was very, very intrusive. Baby, the thing about Diddy never wanting Kim to be with anyone else is something that Jane Deal also confirmed.
He had access to Kim, no matter if he was with her or not, all the time. He never lost access to Kim. He never gave Kim up, or Kim never stopped dealing with him. And she had an open door policy with him at all times.
Really?
Yeah. Even when he was with J-Lo.
So because Shakira was dating Kim, Diddy had to teach him a lesson. But the only thing we're struggling with is if Diddy continued with the threats and actually frustrated him in the industry to the point where he unalived himself. And you know that what Diddy did to Shakira is only one of the things that has been added to the list of the never-ending allegations. Something else that in the Rolling Stone article is that Diddy's behavior actually started long before he became who he is known to be today. And we had several women who attended Harvard University with Diddy say that they saw signs of a controlling personality and rage issues decades ago. So it's not just Shakira who experienced this uncontrollable rage. Well, allegedly, his family has been trying to make sense of things. And at this point, they really want to know what happened to Kim. And that includes Quincy. Recently, Kim Porter's father also reacted to everything that has been happening with Diddy. And y'all can that he had a lot to say. Jake Porter told Rolling Stone that he was disgusted by the recently released footage of Diddy grabbing, shoving, and kicking Cassie during a 2016 altercation. He said, "You could say I was disgusted with the video, and I wouldn't treat my enemy like that. It was despicable. I couldn't believe it. I was in Vietnam, and I wouldn't do that to my enemy." Kim's father also added that the horrible video has now given him a different outlook on his daughter's former partner, saying that he didn't know he could stoop that low, and he wouldn't even do a dog like that. He also shared that Kim loved Diddy, but she just couldn't live with him in the same home because he was a very jealous person. He also said they both loved each other. Kim's love was legitimate. Puffy's love, I don't know what he calls love. You know what I mean? I really don't think he has any idea what love is. Jake also answered no when asked if he had ever seen Diddy get physical with his daughter Kim during their marriage, but added that anything he had seen was never to that extent, but it made him wonder. Now you see how Kim's father is only speaking about Cassie that he had possibly been to his daughter, not to notice what literally that Kim's dad is beginning to look a little sus. Was he also on some sort of payroll, or was he just never close to Kim? And why is it that we are only hearing about him now? Child, we didn't even know he was alive. Baby, just tell me what you think, and while at it, also let me know what you think happened to Shakira Stewart in the comments section below.
It's coming early.
Kate, what do we call?
It's my paycheck. It's coming early. A fifth third better means an early payday.
Hey there, viewers. Before we get into this intense story, I'm curious. What time is it for you right now? And are you a nut? Diddy and what he confessed will send chills down your spine. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Midnight Call. Nights in prison had their own rhythm, a certain hum that never really disappeared, even when most of the block was asleep. The occasional cough from the cell, the distant shuffle of boots against concrete, the soft buzz of security cameras overhead. It all blended into under strict medical protocol. There were forms, signatures, and entire process.
Kill it right here. I might come back a little later on. Hey man, y'all kicking me in the Karma Cafe. I want y'all to like, subscribe, definitely hit notification bell. Hey man, I'm gonna fall back like a small bat, but I'll definitely be back like an asthma attack. So y'all kicking it with me, bro.